All right, do we know, is he on Zoom?
Not yet.
Not yet,
He
okay.
may or may not be.
And if he does, just let me know. Okay. All right, I've got 12 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Amy, would you take roll, please?
Absolutely. Commissioner Dibdahl? Commissioner Wolf? Here. Commissioner Wire?
Here.
Commissioner Barish? Mr. Mayor Lindsay?
Here. You have before you the agenda for today.
I'll make a motion to approve today's agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. You have before you the consent calendar. Is there anything anyone wants to discuss on the consent calendar? If not, do we have a motion?
Move to approve the consent calendar?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Seeing no unfinished business, under new business, award bid number 988, Green Substation Construction. And Jameson, do you want to start that one?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the Green Substation is our electrical substation on north side of town, just off of DSU Prairie Playhouse. We are looking at having reconstruction of that move forward, and so this is approval of the bids for the reconstruction on that substation. The engineer's estimate from DGR was about $2.6 million. We received 4 bids ranging from a high of, I'll call it $4.85 million to a low of $2,322,709.93. That low bid was from IES Commercial Inc. of Holdridge, Nebraska. And staff recommend awarding the bid to the low bidder there. The timeline of this project is to have construction start date of April 1st, and then having the substation carrying load on November 20th of this year. I'll stand by for questions.
Questions or comments?
I just wanted to ask, Ryan, probably that the low bid is considerably lower than the other bids. Do you have any insight as to why?
Mike would have.
Might be able to
Oh,
better answer
okay.
that.
We'll ask Mike instead.
Yeah, Ryan, you're more than welcome to take it if
Yeah.
you want to too.
I can
He was
try.
already sitting up here, just trying to make you number.
I appreciate that. I think one of the reasons is they do have our southeast substation bid too, so they're gonna be right in town working on that as well.
Okay.
They were bidding it aggressively because they really wanted that work since they did have that other site as well. So I think those are the two biggest factors.
All right, now
of
that's
why
good to
they're
know,
so much
just
lower.
making sure we're not getting into a you get what you pay for situation, so.
Correct, yep, understood.
Mike and Grant have done their homework. They've asked a lot of those questions, so.
I'm sure.
And we do our due diligence on our side too. We look through construction references, all the other portions of it. They're an approved contractor through DGR Engineering, so they've done work for several cooperatives and transmission owners in the area.
Very good. So now, since they've got the bid on the other one, then they'll probably just move right along from one to the other and keep moving.
They'll be able to work simultaneously on
Good.
both of them with the difference in outage times and everything, so they'll be able to bounce back and forth.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Any other questions or comments?
You're comfortable, Mike?
I am, yep.
If no questions or comments, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to award bid 988, the Green Substation Construction to IES Commercial Inc. in the amount of $2,322,709.93.
I would second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 12, approved professional services agreement with Bros Engineering for the 2026 multi-community asphalt surface treatment project. And Jameson, you want to address that?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I believe this is our third year on the multi-city community asphalt surface treatment project. So this allows us to get together with other cities and bid a project together, and then we get better bid pricing for that quantities of scale. And so this is simply the professional services agreement with Bros Engineering. They have helped to facilitate this project for the last few years for us. The engineering services have a cost of $16,000. I'll give a reminder that this is the 2026 project. The 2025 project did not get completed last year as planned. The contractor ran out of time in the season, and so we expect them to be beginning the 25 project as weather allows here this spring, and then we can consider liquidated damages for that delay. This is for the 2026 project, which would be bid out as a separate project for the same communities. I'll stand by for any questions.
Questions or comments?
Would the bids be back in time that they could pigtail the 26 projects on the end of the 25?
Yeah, I know Ryan was asking more about that. We've looked into that. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, we did look into it. It sounded like the other communities that were part of the 2025 project were, some of those were dropping out and others were adding on. And so they had determined it was appropriate to then rebid the 2026 work out rather than change ordering on the 26 work onto the 25.
So we'd have two separate projects?
We will have two separate projects, yep, and potentially two separate contractors.
And I'll note that the timing is going to be different for the two projects too, because we're going to want the 25 project to be completed as soon as possible this spring. Our streets department will be re-preparing those streets for that to be ready. And then they're going to need to spend the summer to prepare the streets for the 2026 project by this fall. So even if we were to change order it on, it'd be very likely that the contractor would need to come back to town 2 times to do the two different projects.
So we've got an idea of what we've put in, Gary, already last year?
Not yet. There you are.
What was your question on last year?
What expenses we as a city have in prepping for that work that did not happen?
I think with this easy winter that we've had, I think we're pretty good. We'll get them all swept up and we'll have to go from there to see where we're at. But I don't think it's gonna be a big issue to get them ready, so.
Right, but did we put money, time towards this work that didn't happen, that we were out, that we typically wouldn't have done?
No, because we're getting ready anyway, so
Okay.
we're just continuing on with where we're at, so. I don't foresee anything major. We held off on painting downtown, so we'll just do that as soon as they're done with that and move on, so.
Are there concerns doing this work early? Temperature, getting
Yeah,
as
it
good a
would be-
product?
Temperature is always a factor with chip seal, so ideally you'd wanna wait till June, get the temps up, so. June to August is your prime time for chip seals, so you want that heat up and.
And is that when the 25 would happen, or what?
These typically happen more toward the fall. These are typically happening end of August or September even. Temperatures are cooling down by then. The bigger factor with these asphalt surface treatments is rain. And so I am kind of concerned about the spring, and any rains that fall on that afterwards will wash the oil out. So we'll just have to watch the temperatures in the forecast, and we have control of that. I mean,
We do, okay.
Yeah.
I know in the
Control
past,
the
they
rain,
kind of
I
just,
like that idea.
right, I know in the past, they've just kind of shown up and good luck, they tell, you know.
Yeah, they didn't, there was a couple times where they didn't give us a whole lot of advance notice, and we had to scramble a little bit for parking and to do a little last minute preparation. They were better the second year, and we kind of, have addressed that with that contractor.
Okay.
And when they do get here, they're not here very long. I mean, they move right along, so. If we can get the weather and everything right, and that it doesn't take them long to get her done. So, other questions or comments? If not, do we have a motion? This is to approve the professional services agreement with Bros Engineering.
I would move to approve the professional services agreement with Rose Engineering in the amount of $16,000.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 13, approve the engineering services agreement with Banner Associates for the Northwest Fifth Street Bridge back wall repair project. And Jameson or Ryan, you want to take that?
I'll let Ryan take this one.
Yeah, thank you. So this letter is a contract for professional engineering services for design and bidding of the Northwest Fifth Street Bridge back wall repairs. This repair work goes all the way back to the damage from the September 2019 flood. And the needs for these repairs are noted on the 2025 bridge inspection report, if you recall. So the Banner would complete the engineering services for an amount not to exceed $8,000. Final design accounts for $6,600 of that, and then bidding accounts for $1,400 of it. I will stand by if you have any questions.
Now, on the west side of the bridge there, we had that hole with a little bit of washout. Does that include that?
Yeah, it includes both sides of the bridge. There's both repair for what was damaged during the flooding and then some back wall work that will prevent future damage. And so on the one side of the bridge is actually to repair damage that happened and that needs to still be addressed. It wasn't an imminent failure damage or failure, so it could wait, but we've already been prepaid, if you will, for this project. It was noted by FEMA as a small project, so they give you the money up front and then you just promise to do your project. And this has lingered on probably a while longer than it should have. And so we'd like to get that done this year.
Questions or comments?
Was this bridge on the inspection they did a few months ago?
Yeah, it is. This was the bridge that they had noted as in need of repairs to the timber back wall.
Do we already have these, have we already received the federal funds, or do we have to submit for reimbursement?
No, we have already received it.
We already have them, okay.
Other questions or comments? If not, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve engineering service agreement with Banner Associates for the Northwest Fifth Street Bridge back wall repair project.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Authorize the mayor to sign the addendum for renewable energy credits and acknowledge the program principles. And Jameson, you want to address that?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the city receives renewable energy credits or RECs from the Western Area Power Authority, and we have authorized Heartland Energy to manage those RECs on our behalf. So currently, the state of South Dakota does not require any utilities to have any percentage of their power come from renewable energy, and it appears that I think it's unlikely to change. The RECs only have value if we sell them, since we don't have any requirements to have them. So there are companies out there that look to purchase RECs to meet requirements that they might have for renewable energy in other states. And we're estimating the value of our RECs to be around $50,000 to $60,000. So under our current WAPA contract, we are not allowed to sell them, and this addendum would change that and allow the sale to proceed. If they're sold, they are permanently gone, so they don't really have any value to us unless the state were to change any requirements. But once they are sold, they are gone. So if you are interested in potentially selling those RECs to capitalize on that value, then we would have to pass this addendum so that our WAPA contract allows for those sales to occur. Mike, anything to add?
Even if you do sign this, we do not have to sell them either. So this is just an addendum to the contract that would allow us to sell them if we so choose.
When was that original contract dated?
Say that one more time?
The original contract or the agreement, when was that dated, or is that just, how did that become what it
I think
was?
it's in 90s or something that the original contract, I'm not quite sure what the date is on it.
And we can sell our past RECs as well, or is this just
You can
going
sell, you
forward?
can sell legacy RECs as well. They obviously don't have as much value as your current RECs do, but yes, you can sell your legacy RECs as well.
And we're around that 50 to 60,000?
Yeah, depending on the market too, and actually at the market right now, we're seeing, because of the other states are being required to become more reliant on renewable energy, we are seeing that demand for the renewable energy credits go up.
How many do we have? Do we know?
I just looked, I'm gonna say around 5,000.
Okay.
Some renewable energy, and ours are hydro. There are different types of renewable energy credits, which are solar, wind, hydro, and ours are hydro from WAPA, Western Area Power Administration.
And quite a bit of the power that we receive through Heartland, that comes from renewables as well. So the chances of the state making any changes are probably slim.
Very slim, yep.
Other questions or comments?
So Heartland would facilitate the sale of the credits for us?
Yeah, so there's a tracking system for the renewable energy credits that's called MRETs, and we do not have an account, and Heartland has in that contract addendum, they manage our RECs in the MRET system. So at zero cost to us.
And proceeds from this would they have to go back into the enterprise fund, or?
Correct.
Is it?
Yep, they'd go back in the enterprise fund.
Do we track these in our system, Amy?
No.
No. So they're just kind of hanging out there
Yeah.
in the back of our mind?
Well, we get an update from WAPA every year on what our current RECs would be. We get an email from them letting us know how many we have, and then they get tracked in that MRET system that Heartland manages for us. So we could have right at our fingertips, hey, how many RECs do we have right now? We could just reach out to Heartland and get that number. So there has been interest in the past of companies. It doesn't have to necessarily be an electric company. It could be private companies, anybody that wants to buy that. So there is quite a good market for them right now.
Other questions or comments?
If we did decide at some point we wanted to sell those RECs, who would direct that process, or is that something that this
That
body
Heartland would facilitate that.
Would
the
this
sale of
body
those.
vote on resolution to go ahead and do that?
Yeah,
or-
you would still need to authorize the sale.
Right.
This just changes the contract to allow it to happen, so if we were to find a buyer wanting to pay for those RECs, we would come back to the city commission for
Okay,
forward.
perfect, thank you.
Other questions? If not, do we have a motion?
Motion to authorize the mayor to sign addendum for renewable energy credits and acknowledge program principles.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 15, discussion and possible action regarding scheduling or cancellation of the 2026 citywide cleanup. And Jameson, you want to address that?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As everyone is aware, every year we provide a service called Citywide Cleanup to the community, where we collect certain materials that residents can deposit on the boulevards and in the alleys, and then we have taken them to our restricted use site to deposit them there. It helps to keep the community clean and make it easy for residents to get rid of certain materials. Unfortunately, we currently do not have a restricted use site. Our last site was closed to the public in the fall of '24, and then we did have enough space to have a citywide cleanup last year in 2025. And once that cleanup was finished, then we capped the cell and covered up with materials and closed that site. So that site is no longer available. We have been working through a permitting process for a couple of years now with Department of Agriculture and Natural Resources to open up a new site, but that site is not yet available, and we're still working through that permitting process. So staff were looking for direction on how we want to handle this year's project, or this year's cleanup project. We have basically the options of canceling the event for this year and rescheduling it as soon as a new site would be available, or we would have to haul materials to likely the Brookings landfill. We provided some cost estimates in a memo in the agenda pack that you can look through, but we figured the cost would be about twice as much as normal, largely due to the gate fees that the Brookings landfill would have for us to deposit our materials there. So I guess, again, we're looking for direction. I would note that even, as we continue to talk about this last week, in addition to the material that's provided in the memo, we also talked about operationally how we would deal with the timing of removing materials from citywide cleanup. Right now, it takes the full part of the week and constant trucking to our old site. If we have to travel further to Brookings, that's certainly going to slow down the process, and either citywide cleanup would have to be taken place over several weeks, or Gary's other idea would be we'd have to find some place to deposit the materials and waiting for the trucks to catch up and keep trucking over a few weeks to deposit that. And so we did reach out to the state to see if that would even be allowed, and I think there'd be some ways to work that, but it does prove to be challenging to have the timing of the transportation line up with the timing of the removals and the filling of the trucks. Gary, anything that you would have to add? You got it.
You got it? Yeah, that pretty well sums it up. It's just gonna eat all of 2 weeks, probably, it's just to haul it to Brookings, best case scenario. We average 75 to 100 loads per year, and yeah, I get a lot of road time, so. It can be done. We talked to the state, and I kind of gave them a plan that we would probably stage some of that in our back lot. And they would kind of like a pretty good plan on how we're gonna do that, and a way to keep it cordoned off so we can't have people in there rummaging through the piles. And that was basically their only concern, and then kind of put a time limit on when we would have all that material hauled away, so that's where we're at.
The other thing to consider in that is, is our budget constraints in that for 26 and that, so, it's at this point in time, and that, that's something that we need to take into consideration as well, so. Other comments or questions?
Was citywide cleanup canceled during COVID as well? Am I remembering that correctly?
Yes, yep.
Yep, the city gave out vouchers to residents, so residents were encouraged to take the materials directly to the restricted use site rather than completing a citywide cleanup event, and so some residents did take us up on that, but I think the materials deposited were significantly down the year that the event was canceled, and then the following year, materials were up as the staff were basically cleaning up 2 years worth of materials.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And
sorry.
even if we were to cancel this year and that, people still have the option of taking things themselves, to the other locations. But, but you go ahead, you had a comment.
Yeah, I was just wondering if I was recalling correctly that's how that worked.
Yeah, anyone can haul their own, to Brookings or Sioux Falls, and take care of it themselves, rather than just put it on the curb and that and let the taxpayer pay for it, hauling it away.
Right, there's a cost, you have to pay to take stuff to the landfill, if you went to Brookings or Sioux Falls.
You would, as an individual in that, you would have their tipping fees in that, to go.
Yeah, so I guess
to
that's
pay for as you
my
go
thought
in.
of is, could we do something similar to, there's not a site here available, but offer vouchers for taking materials to Brookings or Sioux Falls if people really needed to dispose of things.
God, I'm not sure how it would.
We'd have to coordinate with one of those landfills to see if they'd be willing to accept vouchers and bill us for the cost. Certainly we could ask them. Obviously with COVID, we own the site, so the voucher process was easy, and that was more of a way to make it easy for our residents. But we could reach out to Brookings as an example to see if they'd be willing to track some vouchers for us and bill us for the cost.
Jameson, you touched on it a bit, but maybe a little more detail on how we got to where we are and what we're doing to move forward. We didn't just learn about this here the last few weeks. It's been an ongoing process on how we got here.
With the new site, or?
Yes, yep.
Yeah, so the city applied for a permit for a new site. We purchased land on the west side of the county, and we applied for a permit, I'd say fall of '23. Does that sound right, Gary? Roxy's nodding back there. So fall of '23, we applied for that, and there was an appeal from adjacent property owner. And so this whole 2-year process, we've been working towards a hearing before the Department of Agriculture and Natural Resources, or excuse me, a hearing before the Board of Minerals and the Environment. And that BME board is the one that ultimately awards or denies applications. The DANR staff recommend award of the permit, and that is what's being appealed and working through that appeal process. So, yeah, we were hoping that we would have a site built a long time ago, and this process keeps lingering on. And depending on when we get the hearing would be dependent on when we could get that permit and move forward with construction of a new site.
So there was a plan in place to be ready. It just got held up.
Yep, yeah. Yeah, if we would have been able to have that hearing right away, we would have had this site developed before we closed the old site. Good questions.
If something was available in the fall, would that make sense to hold a smaller scale event, or are you guys busy?
Yeah, we'd have to play it by ear on what the fall looks like, but, yeah, I don't think you'd wanna go too long.
Right.
Until we get the word from the Board of Minerals and Environments, and that we're in limbo.
Right.
I guess our only concern with that is we have all our help in the spring with Parks Department, and we take everybody that we can get, so. But it is doable.
So do you need a decision today, direction? What are you looking for?
We do need a decision today so that we can notify us, primarily the students and that leave campus, because they definitely, are ones that put whatever they're not gonna take with them, for the summer and that out on the curb. And then we also need to notify our citizens so that they can, keep that in mind as well. So yes, we do need to get that information out as soon as we can.
If there's questions or more information needed, I think we could certainly get that information for you. But we're going to want to have direction either this meeting or the next, because March, and especially as nice as it's been, I imagine we're going to start getting calls and questions from people on when it's going to be or whether we're going to have anything. So I'd say either this meeting or the next meeting to have some sort of definitive action or determination would be best scenario.
Other thoughts, questions?
I know there was a memo. Was that sent out last week, or that's what we're looking at doing this week?
Yeah, the memo in the agenda packet's only been included in the agenda packet.
In the
at this
agenda
point.
packet?
Yep, that's just for your information.
So maybe that, 2 weeks from now? Let that memo get out, get some feedback, and, as long as you don't need a decision today, right? Or-
Yeah,
or,
we could wait a meeting.
A meeting?
I think the staff would like to have determination as soon as possible, because we know where those calls are gonna start coming in.
Yep.
But there's no deadline for this. We just would wanna make sure that the public can plan accordingly as they start to look at spring cleaning and cleaning up their properties.
So do you foresee if we skip a year, it's twice as big, twice as many loads,
It wasn't as bad as I thought it'd be with, COVID, but I just really don't know how many of those coupons were redeemed and
right?
shared or whatever, but it was definitely, it's just such a, hard thing to guess, cause some years you're good and you're whipping through it, next year you're dragging, so the last few years have been steady, so gives you kind of an idea where you're at, but.
Yeah, probably didn't help that the COVID year was right after the year of the flood, so
Yeah,
people
that
had
flood really cleaned us out. I mean,
had
that really
more stuff to get rid of too, and then,
backed off on it after that, so. There's always gonna be plenty to pick up, so. But yeah, the biggest time crunch is just the hauling is just crazy how many loads it'll back and forth. You go from 10-minute trip to 45. Best case scenario, you're not in line. Yeah, worst case scenario, you're sitting in line back and forth, and yeah, so. I couldn't just pick it up off the curb and send it to Brookings. That would kill us, cause it's just way too much time sitting, waiting for trucks. We do use our extra garbage truck as much as possible, and that speeds things up. So on Wednesday, when we don't pick up garbage, we could have both garbage trucks running, so that would help. But it's still just a massive amount of material.
it's a real valuable service, I think, for people who
Yeah.
don't have access to a truck to haul things, or for elderly who it's more difficult for them to take stuff
Can I just add
themselves.
one comment here, as far as doing a voucher system at all? Just something to keep in mind, I think we had this during COVID too, is if we give them coupons or vouchers, it's really hard to monitor who they're giving those vouchers to. So a citywide is for our City of Madison residents. If they're giving them to people that live outside of Madison, that's really hard for us to regulate. And I think we had that same issue during COVID too. So just something I wanted to mention to you.
Oh, that's a good point. Thank you for bringing that up.
Other comments or questions?
I guess, so are you looking for a motion to definitively postpone or cancel?
Yeah, in any direction is appreciated. You know, the staff recommendation in here is to cancel the event for this year. We know it's a very valuable, useful service for everybody, and so we hate to see that happen. But we know that there's a lot of materials that we go through each year. The 5-year average is just under 100 truckloads, and to haul that to Brookings takes not only a lot more cost for the gas and the labor and the landfill fees, but it also takes a lot of time for our staff, and that'd be, I think I figured about 4.4 weeks of one FTE of just hauling truckloads that could be spent on street maintenance and other activities too. So it's a big commitment on any year, and to have to adjust to haul to another community would be a much larger commitment from the staff load that we've got. So that's the recommendation, is to cancel for this year, and as soon as we get a site up and running, I think we would do everything we can to reschedule a cleanup. I don't know that a site will be ready this fall. If things move quickly and we get that hearing and we get things developed, I would love to have something this fall, but if that's not the case, it would have to be next spring.
Yeah, I mean, if we don't have a site, there's really not much we can do.
Well, and staff has put a lot of, thought into this and that, and so I'm inclined to go with the staff's recommendation.
I would support a motion to cancel the citywide cleanup for this year, perhaps with to explore if there are some options that we can offer that would help residents who have things that they really need to dispose of. If there's some things that we could offer that would help them to do that.
So like the vouchers, or what
Well, I guess just maybe direct city staff to explore other, if there's other options we could offer. I don't necessarily think that needs to look like a voucher that they take to a landfill, but I see there's a new company in town that's been advertising junk removal services. I don't know much about them, but maybe that's something that we could look into as well.
And there's Bud's cleanup service as well,
Yeah.
so.
Yep.
So your motion was for,
To cancel the citywide cleanup for 2026.
I'll second that motion.
Hey, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 16, review and approve an updated police department employees benefit. Jameson, you want to address that?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have in policy certain benefits allowed to the police department. Many of these benefits are identical or overlapping with other departments as well. But so we do like to bring these to you for review from time to time, and then there is one change with a new section on there. So in the agenda packet, you can see section 1.6 in the police policies outlines employee benefits for their department. And this includes things such as a hiring bonus for those who come to us as certified officers, how to become a senior officer, certifications compensation, some different benefits that we have allowed to the police department over recent years. The proposed change to the benefits is the subsection 1.6.7. This is for call out and holdover time. This would be similar to how it's handled in other departments currently. Essentially, right now, if officers need to stay late on a shift because they can't leave a call or something that they're working on, or if they are called to come in when it's before or not during the scheduled time, they would get regular time unless they get past 40 hours per week, and then they would get overtime. And where this gets to be challenging for some employees is if they have sick leave already on the calendar for that week, or if they have vacation on the calendar for that week, and then they're required to stay late or come in early, that cancels out their vacation and sick leave time. And they do not receive the overtime for those extra hours worked. And so this would state that if employees are called in or held over due to an emergency, and it does define emergency in here, in those cases, then they would receive overtime on those hours regardless of what happens with the vacation or sick leave elsewhere in the pay period. Again, this is same language and same practice as we have in some other departments, and so this is applying it to the police. The police did look at the costs to do this. If we would have done this for last year, they pulled up about 6 months of last year, and they figured if all those hours were paid out at overtime, it would be about $6,000. However, we know that a substantial portion of those hours would probably be used as comp time, and so wouldn't have a payout on behalf of the city. So we know that the cost would be I would say if half the hours are paid out as overtime and half are used as comp time for a 12-month period, it'd be about $6,000 cost to the city. The police chief is here to answer questions as well, but I'll stand by for questions too.
Questions or comments?
What brought this forward at this point in our process?
Yeah,
It seems a little off timing from when we do a lot of this benefit,
Yeah.
wage stuff.
Yeah, the chief had this request from officers, I'd say sometime in the middle to end of 2025, and it's taken some time to review and to bring it forward. But it wasn't something that came up beginning of this year. It was sometime at the end of last year, I would say. Justin?
Yeah, probably the last quarter of last year.
Other questions?
Consistency is good, across our employee group, so. I guess you have any questions? In addition, it's a lot of information there.
This makes it consistent, for HR department too, because then it's not different between the two other departments.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious how it came to be that the police department was outside of what's the norm for the other departments in the first place. And I assume that this changes the way that the employees would prefer it to be, but it does seem odd that it's out of line from what the other departments
Yeah,
are?
we can provide a little information there, because from my understanding, years ago, the police department did have a policy similar to what's being proposed here. And I'm probably looking 6, 7, 8 years ago. And at that time, the city expressed some desire to move to what the police is now at. And there was, from what Justin recalls, there was the directive that other departments were gonna follow suit. That never happened for whatever reason. I think there were some changes on a federal level that started pushing the city in this direction, and ultimately the city decided they didn't want to move that way for all departments. And so the police have been, I don't know if limbo is the right term, but they had made that change, and now their employees are asking why it is that we're not having consistency across departments. And so we feel the most fair thing to do would be to move back to the way it was for all departments. Justin, would that be accurate?
That would be accurate.
And Justin, just to confirm, this wouldn't be absorbed by the 2026 budget? We would look at a supplemental appropriation?
I don't know that we would need to do that. Our study last 6 months of 2025, if everybody took overtime, I think that number would have been just shy of $4,600. So I think we could absorb it into our 2026 budget without issue, because we do expect or suspect that the majority of that would be taken in comp time.
Yep, that's what I would see in trend too. Thank you.
Yep.
And this change would be effective immediately if approved, or retroactive to the beginning of the year?
We would do it immediately upon approval.
Okay. I don't know if there's anybody that would have been affected by it, since the
It would
first of
probably
the
been a
year, but-
minimal amount.
Okay. Moving forward then from.
Correct.
Thank you.
Do we have other discrepancies now? Will other work groups be coming? I mean, is this a game or a cat and mouse? We're just gonna keep bouncing back between work groups?
I mean, it's certainly possible. I mean, we have a lot of policies. I can't think of any other discrepancies that come to mind at this point. And you can see the benefits from the police department that are here, and, the only things that are really unique to them are things that are law enforcement unique, such as a senior officer eligibility. So I'm not aware of any, discrepancies, but of course, that doesn't stop any employee or any department from having an idea come to mind that they would like to see a request for.
Understand our goal was to have this addressed at the beginning of the year, but circumstances just dictated that unfortunately it didn't get done by then. And so instead of waiting another year, we're asking for it to be implemented at this time.
Was this discussed at that time? Maybe not negotiation time, but was this brought up at that time?
We brought it up last fall with the hopes that it would be addressed and taken care of as we were with other departments. Unfortunately, we just kind of dropped the ball and it got put on the back burner when we were dealing with some other things. And it didn't get handled in the time frame that we had hoped, so that's why we brought it forth at this time.
Is this different, the same, not applicable to what is also in our union agreements?
This would line up with that.
Okay.
Yeah, we'd want to see consistency there. In fact, the definition of emergency comes word for word from that union agreement.
Other questions or comments? If not, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the updated police department employee benefits. What is this? Document?
Sure.
Effective, I suppose, today? Is it, or would it be next?
I don't know if the best effective would be today or if it'd be end of a pay period or,
Probably a pay period.
Let's go pay period.
okay.
We'll make it easier on HR.
Yeah, just make it this pay period.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 17, action to approve or deny the invoice from Shane Fish and Company. And Jameson, you want to address that?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Okay, so as we know, we have made a transition between auditing firms. We moved from Shane Fish and Company, who had completed audit services for us for a number of years, to Williams and Company, who is starting with the 2024 audit. And there's a memo in the packet that kind of outlines this more in details, but I think the bottom line is that we're kind of caught between two audit firms who had disagreeing opinions on some audit requirements or how to engage with those audits. So Williams had looked at a couple of the previous completed audits. They had questions on risk determination for the city. We reached out to our previous auditor asking for a meeting. They wanted some more information. We gave them that information, and then they came back with an opinion that they wouldn't see any changes needed to their audit services, or to their audit reports, I mean. And after that, they sent us a bill for $7,100 for 35 and a half hours of labor, and that invoice is included in the agenda packet as well. Staff don't feel that this is something the city should be paying. We requested a meeting, and we didn't get that meeting, and we didn't authorize, negotiate, or otherwise ask for the document they provided in regarding to their audit report. All invoices submitted to the city have to come to the city commission for approval or consideration, and so we want to make sure we follow through in that requirement. But we wanted to pull this one out separately because the staff recommendation is to not approve this invoice. Again, we didn't request these, and about half of the hours were for transition services that occurred in October and November, and they would have had several months and plenty of time to submit those hours if they deemed appropriate earlier in the year, but yet we didn't receive those hours until we had asked about their previous audit reports. So I think that's the quick summary. Amy, anything to add? Okay, we'll stand by for any questions.
Did you have anything you wanted to add, Amy?
No, that sums it up perfectly.
Okay, I just saw you turn your microphone on. Questions or comments?
Did we reach out to our legal counsel on this?
Yes, yep. When we got the invoice, we did, and he sent them some correspondence, and following that correspondence, Shone Fish's opinion is still that they wanted to see this invoice submitted for consideration.
So if we recommend to deny the invoice, would our attorney send them a correspondence denoting that fact that
Yeah.
we're disputing the charges?
Yes, yep, that'd be what would happen.
Did he offer any input or advice as to the likelihood of this turning into a civil matter if we decide not to pay it?
Yeah, no, I mean, and we don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on how far either party wants to push this. I would say it's not a large enough amount that I would hope that it could be dropped or negotiated. But again, these are hours that we didn't request, and they had long before completed their previous audit report for us, and so I don't think there's any case where it can be attributed to that. We asked for a meeting, and we got sent a bill.
Other questions or comments? If not, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to deny the invoice from Shane Fish and Company.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 18, March 2026 city updates. Jameson?
Okay, I'll give a second for that to come up. I've got just a few updates, a pretty quick month again, as the winters generally are. Starting off, we want to recognize employees who are hitting some years of service. So this week is our annual employee appreciation event. And so we have 8 employees here who are hitting years of service ranging from 5 years up to 25 years. Gary's here with us. Gary, should we sing like a happy anniversary song or something? Oh, I didn't think you'd call me on that bluff, but I think we're running out of time, so we'll have to move on to the next slide here. But in all seriousness, thanks to all the employees that hit these years of service awards, as well as all other employees for the work they do every day, whether they've been here for 1 day or 40 years. We appreciate everything the employees do for our community every day. Okay, so then next slide is we just have our list of active projects that we're kind of monitoring for reporting back to you. And then The one that I would mainly have to note is Flynn Field lights on the next slide here. So as you know, we are looking at installing new lights for Flynn Field. Those materials were ordered and have now been delivered. And so staff working between the parks and the electric departments are coordinating to create installation plan. We hope to start installation later this month. I will note that we want to get the new lights up working, and then we can work on removal of the old lights. Depending on weather, that we might need to wait to remove those old lights to this fall, but the first priority is to get the new lights up and operating. Also want to note that we are exploring options to use the existing light poles that are out there now to see if we can install a net on it and provide a barrier between the outfield and the neighboring Union Square Mobile Park. In the past, from time to time, people have asked whether we can put a net up, and between the lights and the nets, the poles just are not rated to carry that much. But since we have some new poles coming and some existing poles that are going to be taken out of use, we are exploring the option to see if we can install a net. We're hoping that we could do that within the current budget, so no supplemental is necessary, but I'm not making promises there either. We're still exploring options. Any questions on Flynn Field lights? All right, and then the other update I have is on our migration to the government community cloud. We have completed all the migrations on the emails to go from our .com to our .govs, and currently we're working on the Intune migration as well as migration on OneDrive, and then after that, the next step would be to migrate all of our SharePoint accounts. Jed, anything to add there while you're here?
No, we're doing pretty good. Basically working pretty hard on the Intune migrations. Got another 6 left in the PD this week. Been working pretty hard and for Justin over there, so once we get that done, SharePoint should go pretty quick, and we're gonna be done with that project and wrap it up, do cleanup, so.
Thank you.
I have a question for Jed on this. So will the .com email addresses continue to function indefinitely?
Well, we'll keep it around we really do want to sunset that over time, so
Okay.
we'll keep it around for a couple of years. We'll just basically make it an alias of that of the .gov, and we'll keep it around until basically we're completely done, and then we'll just sunset it off. So.
Okay, not immediately anyway. 'Cause
No,
I do know
no,
there's people out there that are, they still have the old contact saved, so I was just curious.
Yeah, like I told Jameson the other day, now that got the email done, the real work starts at this point, because now we gotta convert everything else, right, so.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
it's a
not
process.
days or months or weeks, it'd be
Yeah, it
years
could be a
before
couple
we
years.
get rid of the .coms.
Good to know.
All right.
Okay, we'll switch over to some events. Some of the past events, a lot of them occurring at the library. February wrapped up their season of trivia nights, and El Hexagon was the one that won with the top spot. And we want to thank the office for providing that space and helping to make the trivia nights a successful event. They've also held everything ranging from library Olympics with kids to a bad art event with the teens. And then, that's all the ones that are noted on here. The bad art was a teens event, otherwise I think I probably could have taken the cake there, but we'll leave that to the teens to make the bad art. Upcoming events, again at the library here, they have the Readers Fair coming up this Saturday, March 7th. That's gonna be from 10 to 2. They've got a variety of panels, they've got books, they've got fun games and activities for kids as well as adults. And so you can see the schedule there, again coming from 10 to 2 this Saturday. And the final note that I have is people can stay tuned that the Madison Public Library is working on a new look for their website, and so that'll be coming forward in the future as well. I think that's everything. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Okay. And Ryan, can you see, do we have any public comment on the sheet there? I didn't see anyone sign in on it. All right. I do want to acknowledge that we have people here from the Madison Leadership Group, and hopefully in that, I want to say it was exciting for you to be here. So, okay, under announcements, we have the Equalization Board hearings, Monday, March 16th, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. And our next regular board meeting will be, again, March 16th, 2026, following the Equalization Board hearings. So with that, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, everyone.